When does Copperhead go to the auto mechanic?
I don't know.
When he needs a coil change? I'm actually quite impressed that my book has 2 pages of Copperhead jokes.
It's terrible. We
That
need to
that
take that book away from you.
Oh no, this was an AOK and you can't take AOKs away.
Whoever did that is not a nice person. That person needs an AOR.
Yeah. Oh, glitter away.
Just let me know who it is.
Yep. How are you doing?
Good.
For those that don't know, exclusively, at least for now, on the Magic Lasso channel, it's Comic Food 2814. How was your week? What's new? Yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah, week went well. Not too much new. Haven't really had much to collect lately, but we'll see.
Okay. It's just Fu and I tonight. Tony has bailed on us. Antonio has bailed. Something about Harley. What was it? Harley what again? I forgot.
I don't know.
I just saw Harley blah 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 not going to be here blah 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 Harley.
Exactly. Yeah. That's generally how it goes with Tony.
Yeah. So
you got to read through the Harleys.
Yep, exactly. We know where his priorities are. I went to the comic store yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Hadn't been for about a month. Spent way too much money. So, but it was fun. Get out there and get
Decide
some
not
stuff.
To eat this week?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I tell you, it was a charge card purchase this time. It wasn't even a debit card. It was a charge card purchase this time.
They're the worst.
Yeah, it was. So one thing that I did hear them talking about, and I saw this on bleedingcool.com, and I don't seem to see a reason why, but DC Comics just canceled orders for Batman the Barbarian issue 1 and Batman Gargoyle of Gotham issue 3. They're going to reschedule both of them, but they're canceling all of the orders that they took and will resolicit in the future.
Wow.
So not exactly sure what is going on there.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you know anything about these QR codes that DC's doing with All In?
No, I haven't paid much attention to that.
They're doing some kind of like thing with the retailers where like if they buy, I don't know if it's like 25 titles, they have to buy so many and then they get like the books at like $1 each. And there's some kind of like QR code where you get like a Justice League membership card or something.
Really?
Yeah, I don't quite get it, but
that sounds like an excuse to get your cell phone number so they can sell it to people. That's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that.
So,
no, I don't know about that. I did see as well that, including the logos this time, the Absolute DC cover art and logos are now revealed.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so that Batman logo, quite the attention on X. I don't really get it. I just seems sloppy, lazy. I just don't understand. And then the wings on his arms, like maybe, and then even the cape looks different. You can see like 2 things kind of flowing in the back. I don't know if it's meant to be a cape or.
Wasn't this the one that people were talking about? Why is the head so tiny and the body so large?
Yeah. Like basically like Bruce Wayne wouldn't be able to go into a board meeting looking like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we've seen oversized Batman in the past. What was it? Was it Shadow of the Bat? Where they did him oversized, but
well, even Dark Knight, Frank Miller's Dark Knight. We saw him big.
It for me personally, it's not my favorite when they draw him like that. And this one, it's just a little weird.
Yeah. What do you think of the other covers?
I like that Superman one. That looks kind of cool.
Okay. Yeah, I think the Wonder Woman one's all right.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I've seen it before, though.
Yeah. Jumping back to that Batman though, doesn't that logo, didn't they have a cartoon that had a logo? Wasn't like the Batman Brave and the Bold cartoon logo kind of like that? Or am I
I'm
thinking
not
of
sure.
something else? It just looked familiar
I
to
mean,
me.
the Dark Knight one kind of looks like that, doesn't it?
Okay. I'm not for sure. But
Yeah. And then I saw on what is it? Justice League Unlimited, I think it's called.
mhm.
Did you see the new team there? It's kind of
No.
interesting. So we've got Superman and Wonder Woman and
Hmm.
Batman. So we've got the Trinity.
Yep.
In addition to them, we've got the Flash, and
Hmm.
that's where the normal Justice League ends, at least on the cover here that I'm looking at. And then we've got Star Sapphire,
Who we'll be
Black,
talking about tonight.
yep, Black Lightning, and then these two are really strange picks. We've got the Atom,
Okay.
and then Captain Atom.
Okay.
Interesting, right?
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen Captain Atom in forever.
Yeah. It has
Yeah.
been, it's been a minute or so. Hmm.
Maybe they'll make my Captain Atom dollar bin books worth $1.25.
Yeah, could be. I did read that an all new documentary film about the making of Kingdom Come is headed to Kickstarter.
Interesting.
So it kind of just talks about how it all came about and so forth. I haven't clicked on the Kickstarter. I guess the pre-launch page is live, but I don't think it's launched yet. Um,
Yeah, I
so
guess I could see that generating interest.
yeah,
It's got a big fan base, right?
yeah, certainly does. So guess it says coming fall 2024 on Kickstarter. So no further details about how much they're looking to fund, or what different levels that they have with it. Just that is something that is coming.
I see.
Yeah. And pretty much news wise, I don't know a whole heck of a lot of other stuff unless you do.
I've got two minor things here.
Yeah, go
I was
for it.
reading this one article. I guess Batman is also going to take up the Nightwing persona.
Oh, I did hear that. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, so when he goes to Bloodhaven, he can switch in and out as Nightwing when
Hmm.
needed, in addition to Dick Grayson.
Yeah,
So kind of strange. But I mean, I guess they've done it the reverse, right? So
yeah.
it's like, all right, I scratch your back, you scratch mine. I don't know.
When you got a disco, you got a disco.
There you go.
Yeah.
The one other thing I saw, which was kind of interesting, like they're having a 30th anniversary of Zero Hour.
Oh yes, I'm so glad that you said that. I had forgotten about that, but I read that last night. I saw an ad or something in one of the books. What do you think of that? And is that something you're going to get?
Probably not, but it just seems so weird because I don't remember. Well, I do remember when that came out. I was
Hmm.
collecting comics as a kid then, and I got all of them. I don't remember really enjoying it that much,
Hmm.
and I don't really remember anybody talking about it.
Did we lose Foo?
Am I here?
Oh, I think I can hear. Oh, you're back. I
Oh,
think we
okay.
lost you for a second. We
Sorry.
heard you say, I don't really remember enjoying it much. I remember when I was a kid, or I remember, and then you just kind of went
Yeah,
away.
we had like the death of Superman, right? And then
Hmm.
Zero Hour, and then we all just moved on right away. Like, I don't remember anybody really talking about that story at the time or afterwards, right? And so to
Yeah.
have a 30th anniversary of it, but I guess, I mean, they were trying to clean up some stuff from Crisis, and
Hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, they're always cleaning up, right?
Yeah. We do
So,
have some folks that have joined us in the live chat that we want to say hello to. If you're watching us on the rewind, hello to you as well. We always appreciate you stopping by. Hello to First and John's Comics with Kids. John, I haven't had a chance to talk to him since it's been announced, but he got nominated for a couple comic book community awards. So congratulations, John. So
congrats.
yeah, disco disco. And Kenneth Bird is here. I always feel good every time Kenneth shows up. I'm like, okay, we haven't lost Kenneth. We still must be doing an okay show. So thank you for being here, Kenneth. You're like my life support. When I see you in the chat, I'm like, yay, he's here. So that's awesome. Hey, Muabunga to White Tiger, cool, calm, collected. So Ruben, it's good to see you there. Jackson Roy Kirk, definitely loved the opening to today's show. A coil change. Remember, I got 2 more pages of Copperhead jokes for you. And meow back to you. So yeah, that's kind of where we are.
I want to know who sent you that book.
You know what? If you go back and watch previous videos, you will see who provided that book to me.
Was it silver-haired?
No, it was not Sarah.
Was it Russ?
No, it wasn't Russ.
All right. Well, one of you is in trouble. I'm going to make one of my kids go back and rewatch.
Yeah, that's their punishment for something that they'll be doing in the future. You have to watch my channel. So, but I guess news-wise, that's kind of... Oh, wait, are you going to pick up the 30th anniversary for that?
Probably not.
Okay.
Probably not. I mean, unless they've got a really cool, like, Kyle Rayner cover or something on it.
They might.
I know.
Probably be 30 variant covers and 10 retailer exclusives.
Gosh.
Look at... You know what they say about denying stuff?
Uh-oh.
Usually the first to deny is the first one who's guilty.
It's not good. Not looking good.
No. But as we turn to the retro review tonight, it was my pick, and it is it's a group that we've talked about before on the show and featured different incarnations. Secret Society of Supervillains, but they had their own title back in the Bronze Age. And this copy is even more, the one here on our screen is even more beat up than my own copy of issue number 1, which I need to upgrade at some point. But I think it's no secret that I like the team books, and even if it's a villain team, I like a villain team book as well. Scroll down just a touch so you can see the full thing of the cover. What do you think? Oh, wow. What do you think of that cover?
It's actually pretty wild seeing Batman and Green Lantern as androids.
Yeah.
Oh, Flash too.
Yeah, and Flash too.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You've got Sinestro and Starsap running away, smiling.
Yep. So essentially, if you can defeat the robot versions, then the real life one shouldn't be a problem. But I'll get us started here with issue number 1. And we get a great splash page as you're invited to a bi-monthly meeting on the Secret Society of Supervillains. Attend or die. And we have Captain Cold and Mirror Master. And they have just stolen some jewels from a jewelry store and are in the process of running away. Obviously doing their familiar tricks like Captain Cold blasting them with his freeze gun and using the freeze gun to create an ice bridge for them to go on top of. It's funny that they never slip on the ice or anything, too. Captain Cold and the other one, they don't ever seem to have a problem in that. So, and then we cut over to the infamous Bowery Hotel. And inside of there, it's the 2 characters that we just saw out of their costumes. And they're looking, they're like, how are we going to go back and tell the boss that, we only have this? And they're like, well, wait a minute. What if you hid somewhere to go back and cut me out of it? And so they're starting to, no honor among thieves, and they're starting to bicker between the 2 of them. When all of a sudden a rock is thrown through the window with a note attached to it, and it's an invitation that they said, you're not going to believe this. We cut over now to Gorilla City, and instantly Grodd is escaping. And you know what that means? Oh my Grodd. And he's like, Salivar tried to imprison me, but there's no stopping Grodd. And he makes short work of the Gorilla Guards, and he tests his mental power blast. He said there used to be a chemical mist in the cell that prevented him from being able to use that, but that went away, and now there's no stopping him, and he just disappears. We cut over now to Penitentiary in upstate New York, where Copperhead is one of the villains that is making an escape out. And he's like, well, how did I get free? And he's handed this piece of paper, and they say some group called the Secret Society gave me money and this costume, and they gave this to give to you, and he's invited to go to the Sinister Citadel. We're cutting out of 50,000 miles out in space 24 hours later, and there is Sinestro. And even his invitation, not even being on the planet, reaches him. And he's like, Earth, it's the home to the man I hate the most in the universe, Hal Jordan, Green Lantern. And he's curious of who this invitation came from, so he kind of uses his ring to look a little more inconspicuous, kind of as a businessman, and he arrives at the address, which is this skyscraper. The Sinister Citadel, or the Citadel Sinister, is inside the skyscraper in San Francisco, and they give us a little blueprint there of what is on every room. So as Sinestro starts to walk in, there is a lady waiting there to greet him, and she says her name is Camille, and she's been expecting them, and the others are in the lounge, and she escorts him into the elevator. Obviously, she can kind of see through his disguise, and Sinestro makes note of that she knew that I was Sinestro and that I was invited here. And as he takes off in the elevator, Metamorphosis starts to take control, easy for me to say, and she starts to change, and we realize that she is the brand new Star Saphire, possessing the powers of the old while inhabiting a new body. So there's a butler waiting for them up on top, and Sinestro says, the girl mentioned there are others. Who are these others? And he walks into the parlor, and he sees people like Captain Cold, Grodd, Mirror Master, Captain Boomerang, the Wizard. What's interesting in that middle box next to Copperhead's head, it says, a room crowded with villains. Captain Boomerang, the Wizard from Earth 2, Mirror Master, Captain Cold, Grodd, Catwoman, the Shadow Thief, and Copperhead. What's interesting about that is Catwoman is nowhere to be seen in this story, or I think in the entire series. So it sounds like she was planned at one point to be in there, and for whatever reason got pulled out. Then all of a sudden, Star Saphire makes her appearance inside. And Sinestro, changes out of his illusion form. And as he does that, Krabash, the Justice League of America, have shown up, and they have taken the villains by surprise. And, even the Wizard's like, blast, I came all the way from Earth 2 for this meeting, and to find myself betrayed. Someone will pay for this. They'll all pay. And they say, well, we got to defeat our enemies. So each one starts to work on a different opponent. Star Saphire essentially turns Wonder Woman into crystal, while Copperhead uses her like a bat to hit Batman. Green Lantern's flying around, and one thing that they notice is none of these heroes are saying anything. The villains notice this. Usually they say, you can't shut up these heroes while they're fighting. But no one is saying anything. And Grodd especially is not, he's not going to get taken down by anyone. He can handle himself, He says, the day I can't handle myself is the day I surrendered to King Salivar. No one uses Gorilla Grodd for a punching bag, not even the vaunted Man of Steel. And he goes after him. And we got Flash and Mirror Master, and he's wondering why he isn't using some type of a speed trick. And Mirror Master uses his prism mirror to blast Flash out of this world. And he's like, what? And then all of a sudden they realize, hey, this isn't Superman. These aren't the heroes. These are robots. And then someone says, all of these heroes are robots, Grodd. And introduces himself as the host substitute. His name is Manhunter, and this is Manhunter's first appearance. And he says, in a way, this fight was a display of seeing what you can do and the need for a secret society to fight against our mortal enemies. And he takes him into like a meeting conference room. He says, each of us are here, that is here is a master villain, an outlaw, a renegade, and kind of explains who each person is and introduces them to their butler that they have in their own headquarters. And so Captain Cole really wants to know what's the gist of this. And he says, well, you need to prove yourself to our financier, the man who for the moment shall remain nameless. And the two who have to prove themselves first are you two, and it's Grodd and Copperhead. And Grodd takes it as an insult. He's, why should I have to prove myself to someone that I don't even know who this is? And he says, well, for the reason any of us do anything, Grodd, enlightened self-interest. And they agree to go for this test. And next thing you know, they find this lighthouse that's their destination. And inside, it's in the San Francisco Bay. It's really, they find all these men and guards are surrounding this, which seems quite odd. And Copperhead jumps up and starts attacking the guards, while Grodd at the same time attacks them from below, throws them into the water, and they're freaking out just by the fact that there's a talking gorilla. And Grodd is taking literally no prisoners, and he assures them that he is not a costume actor, and he's quite real. And they're just freaking out, and obviously they're losing. So Copperhead has been able to get all the way up inside the lighthouse with Grodd's distraction of the guards. And he gets up there, and he sees what he came for, a protected spear of solid plutonium guarded by one old creepy man, he says. But the guy turns around and starts to shoot at him, and Copperhead essentially knocks him out and grabs the plutonium and starts scaling back down the lighthouse. And Grodd's telling him to hurry. And as he starts running with the plutonium, one of the guards is barely able to move, but he knows he has to, because if that plutonium disappears with Copperhead, it'll be an international disaster. He's able to fire a shot that hits and knocks Copperhead down, and he drops the plutonium. And Grodd takes off and leaves his ass. So he's like, Grodd, don't leave me, Grodd! And so Grodd comes back, makes his report, and he's like, don't worry about Copperhead betraying us, Grodd. We have ways to ensure his silence. So Captain Cold asks, and now, Manhunter, what's next? The unveiling of our benefactor? And Manhunter's reply is icy silence, yet in the silence there's a promise that answers will come tomorrow. And that's the end of issue 1.
All right.
Let's say hello to a few folks who have joined us during issue 1's retro review. Carlito Classico, hello to you. And hello to Tony Old Wolf 65. I gave you issue 2 probably for an obvious reason.
Yeah, so let's address that real quick. So when we got our book assignments this week, I was, of course, expecting high quality stories, coming from Lasso. We've learned to expect certainly lesser quality from our other host who's not here tonight, but not Lasso. Lasso always picks good stories. And I woke up today thinking, oh, I can't wait to see what Lasso picked for us. I check, and there's a nice little note too that letting me know from Lasso, letting me know that he picked this one special for me.
Yep.
And I thought, man, that's so nice, because I know that Lasso knows the characters I enjoy, the types of stories, and he's not going to pick like a section 8 on me like Tony would, right? So I was very happy, especially when I took a look at the issue. I saw Green Lantern on the cover. I thought, oh yeah, he did me right. You got Star Saphire. I mean, what's not to like, right? Well, spoiler alert. Apparently I was wrong, and Lasso is no better than Tony Fett or even Tony Quinn. It turns out this was just a big setup. Green Lantern's not even in this story except to get his butt kicked in the very beginning, and then they even make a point. Well, we'll see. They make a point of even saying, it doesn't matter what happened to him. We'll move on. So thank you.
Oh,
thank you.
You're welcome. Take it away.
That's great. Yeah. He made the cover just to get knocked out. All right. So we'll skip past the hostess ad. So many ads in this one, by the way. So we start out with Captain Comet. He is returning to Earth. He's a character, I guess, he's a very old character. In fact, I don't even think he was DC originally. But they were trying to bring him back here. He's back from Earth. and he's home after a very long time. I think he had gone to like out into outer space. Well, we'll get to this, um, but the way I guess time works different, and so when he gets back, he kind of dresses in an older style, and immediately he gets onto the streets. This is, I believe, 1976, and he's like, "Oh, I guess I forgot about style. The style has changed." And he's noticing these looser clothes, the kind of disco look here. And so, but he hears a scream. He's like, "Okay, some things never change," and we can tell right away he's some kind of hero, right? And so he immediately goes into action. And what does he find? He finds these two characters. It's Grodd and what's this guy's name? Not Jack. Uh,
Hijack.
Hijack. Thank you.
Hijack.
Hijack.
Yeah.
And they're being chased by Hal Jordan, the Green Lantern. So they go back and forth, firing off at each other. Green Lantern's like, "Come on, guys, you know you can't beat me." He makes this big shovel. He's like, "I'll just scoop you up." And Hijack manages to get a few cards off in Hal's face. Grodd hits him with the lamppost, knocking him off balance. But again, it's Green Lantern, so he's like, okay. He gets his boxing glove. He goes to punch him out. We get a couple ads, and that's when this Captain Comet uh, thinks that Green Lantern is the aggressor, so he must be stopped. Thinking he's doing something good, he rushes up basically just to, knock out Hal Jordan. Then he goes and he rescues Hijack and Grodd and takes them away. And the crowd's like, "Whoa, are you okay, Green Lantern?" And he's like, "Yeah, but I'm mad." And then then they say, "We'll have to leave the Green Lantern now since our book concerns villains and not heroes. Someday we may learn the extent of the Emerald Crusader's anger, but not today." So that was it. Thank you, Lasso. That was fun.
Well, I didn't know how many issues you read where he was mad.
Yeah. Okay, so they come back to meet with the secret society of supervillains here, and they're talking about how they just invited Hijack in. They that's where oh, and I'm sorry, they introduced Captain Comet there as like that he helped him, and they're kind of like whispering to like, "Look, I think he thinks he's like a hero, but he doesn't know who the Justice League is, so let's just bring him into our side, not tell him what's up. We won't tell him we're villains, basically." And so Grodd reads his mind and realizes that gets his whole history basically. So we'll do it real quick here. He was born the night a comet flew over the sky back in a small midwestern town. His name was Adam Blake. And when he grew up, this mysterious top came by one time, and he had to go, and it was siphoning off the oxygen of Earth. So he had to go up and protect this thing. He realized it was built by an alien civilization. He created this suit by himself, and I guess maybe he's very intelligent. I guess we're supposed to assume it's from this comet, but they never really explain that, and he doesn't really know either. He gets a spaceship. They don't explain where, but he goes up. That this top is being controlled by an alien spacecraft. He's got to control it. Um, he ends up knocking out this alien. Comes back to Earth, but he's just so much more intelligent than the rest of humans. He decides to go off into space to find his destiny, and now he's back. Kind of an odd origin story, but yeah. So again, they're talking about how they can manipulate him because he hasn't been around on Earth for a while. He doesn't know what's up. He doesn't know about the Justice League. So they invite him in, and he's like, "Okay, great. You're all my friends." Get some more advertisements here. And let's see, we flash back to to Captain Comet here. He's going back to his old home, just kind of revisiting some memories. He actually finds his parents' grave. I guess they had since died. 1958, it looks like. And he hears something from behind though, and he looks back, and Manhunter is there. And Manhunter's like, "Look, I'm glad I got you alone. I need to tell you something. Look, basically, Grodd has put this mental spell around your mind so that you can't figure out what's going on. But essentially, these guys are villains. I'm a hero, and I'm just here to kind of trick them." Um, and that's when they get zapped by none other than, lots of ads, Mantis. And so Mantis is like, "I overheard everything. You've betrayed us." And if you recall, I don't think Mantis was part of the secret society. So it's kind of odd that he's showing up. What's he talking about here? He's like, "You'll die for your treachery." And so then Manhunter and Captain Comet begin to fight him. There's some back and forth here. Eventually, Uh, Comet saves Manhunter, gets him out of the way, gets some more ads, and Mantis goes flying off, leaving them in the dust. And they're like, "All right, well, we better get back to the secret society now." So they fly back, and that's where Star Sapphire and Sinestro join them. And Manhunter's like, "Look, I need to show you something," and he takes them down to this abandoned lot. Has Grodd pick up this hidden rock where they go down these steps where Manhunter shows them. He's basically showing them all of these humans that are like being cloned or something in this lab. And he introduces them to their great benefactor. The person that he helped set the secret society of supervillains up for was none other than Darkseid.
Dun dun dun.
Yep. That's when Mantis shows up, and he tells them to kill them. Get some ads here. This is a great PSA too from Superman. What does he want? He's scolding the children for because they wanted to crash a party, and he's like, "That's trespassing.
Because they weren't invited.
They weren't invited." So we get the supervillains here fighting these Mantis clones. Star Sapphire gets in on it. We've got Manhunter there. We get some back and forth, just some good action scenes here. Nothing too crazy. But Mantis finally is like, "Surrender or die." And that's where we leave off on this episode, because Mantis is ready to take them all out with this machine, I guess. Next issue, At the Mercy of Mantis, the Power Parasite, in the
Wow.
war for Darkseid Sanctuary.
Wow. Say hello to a few folks who've joined us real quick before we move on to another issue. We will say hi.
Are you doing issue 3?
Yeah, I'm going to do issue 3, yeah.
Okay.
We say hi to Bobby. And we say hi to Warlord. And Man Cave is here. Always awesome to see you too. And yeah, thank you guys for joining us. So Tony originally was going to do issue 3. And take it away, Tony. Yeah. So I will take care of issue 3. I haven't spent as much time with this as I did with issue 1, but we'll take care of this. So there's our cover.
Nice.
And there we get a big splash page of Calabac begging for mercy from Darkseid, and Darkseid assuring him that he has not forgotten his recent failure. He's choosing to ignore it and to give you a chance to redeem yourself in my war for Earth death. And he thanks Darkseid. So he says, they arise, dog, then arise, dog, and observe. He's like, until recently, I relied solely on Inner Gang as my secret strike force on Earth. They were effective, but insufficient. So he founded and formed this new group. He's the benefactor behind the Secret Society of Supervillains. And he says, now that their leader, the Manhunter clone, seeks to turn them against me. And he says, Mantis contends with them even as we speak, yet the outcome of the fray is uncertain and may require intervention. So we cut back to what's going on with Mantis on Earth. And he is essentially telling the villains, you need to heed my word and yield to me. And Captain Cold's like, I'm going to put you on ice. And he's like, no way. And like, don't, we got to work as a team. You know, Captain Comet saying we got to work as a team. He's like, forget it. I take care of myself. And Mantis is proving to him that his cold gun is less than effective to a power parasite. And they realize, wow, he flattened Captain Cold with one burst. And he's like, great Darkseid would have you kept alive, Manhunter. Yet it is your decision, surrender or die. And he says, I'm not going to yield. And Star Sapphire says that she's not going to as well. And Star Sapphire goes in after those advertisements to start to attack Mantis. And he calls her a stubborn, blind female fool. And she calls him a male chauvinist insect. And he says, I feed on power and can absorb it faster than your gem can produce it. And then, as a matter of fact, I can take that power and repel it right back. So Manhunter tries to say, well, how do you do against your physical skill? And he's like, well, find out. And that's when he takes the power from Star Sapphire and repels it right back on him. He falls to the ground, and Star Sapphire is questioning, who is this Darkseid? You know, why do you serve him? And he says, Darkseid's a god and the ruler of Apokolips. He gave me my powers and promised me mastery of Earth, the doomed dominion. And she's like, what of the secret society? Where do we fit in? And she realizes they're going to be slaves. And she grabs a hold of Manhunter, and she's like, we need to escape. And he's like, well, what about the others? And she's like, the devil take the others, Manhunter. And Mantis says, run, mortals, run. Return with the reinforcements, if you will, but I will be waiting. And then he says, perfect. They will rise to the bait. So Manhunter's like, well, what are we going to do now, Star Sapphire? And he's like, where are you going? You know, the secret society is Earth's only protection against Darkseid. She's like, you're wrong. We're just in it for the money, but there are those who eagerly defend Earth for free. I'm going to go find a superhero. At this point, we cut over to jail 48 hours earlier in San Francisco jail, where Copperhead's been put into jail as he got captured at the end of issue 1. And he's telling them about the secret society of supervillains. And he's like, I can tell you everything, where they're at. You know, he's trying to cut a plea deal, essentially. And they don't really believe him. And until all of a sudden there's this big kabloom, and he's being busted out. But when he looks, he goes, no, not you, not you. And then the cops are like, hey, maybe there's something to what Copperhead was saying after all. And we don't find out who has taken him. So we're in downtown San Francisco now. And here we got the likes out of costume, I should say. We have Captain Boomerang and Mirror Master, and they're going to get some burgers. And heck no, they're not going to pay for them. They're going to steal them. So they wait till the order comes up, and Mirror Master uses his contact lens to make it look like they've simply vanished as they walk out with the burgers. They head back to the whole Citadel, and they take the elevator up to find the rest of the villains waiting. And they're kind of like, hey, everyone else is still gone. And Sinestro especially is pretty frustrated. And they start to eat their food when the rest of them, in their impatience, start sniping at each other. And they're making threats and promises. The butler comes in, he's ready to serve them some food, and Sinestro and Hijack are really about to slug it out when Manhunter steps in and says, save your anger for a mutual foe. Grodd and the others need help, and they need it now. And Hijack's like, let them help themselves. And you know, indeed, what have they done for us, Manhunter? He's like, you guys need to hear me out. We have to have some calculated game of strategy. There's a secret war coming. They're coming for Earth. It's outside forces. We'll end up slaves. You know, you have just as much interest as anyone else. And they're like, okay, you got our attention. Speak fast and tell us what's going on. So as he fills them in all about what they went through with Mantis and who Darkseid is and what Darkseid's plan is, they're like, okay, we need to get together, function and work as a team, and go after this. We're the secret society of supervillains. And you get that great page right there that you're showing that in the great panel of them about to go out. And then it's noted on the bottom that, you know, on Apokolips, Darkseid does not tolerate open defiance, especially among the ranks of his own forces, and that he has spies everywhere to advise him of any traitorous actions before they even happen. So now we realize that butler is really working for Darkseid, and his mission is to let him know, if they're going to turn against him. So he's gonna snitch on him. So we have Star Saphire across San Francisco. She's looking for a superhero. She flies by and, hey, there's my friend's favorite superhero right there. And he says, it's the new Saphire, And he's like, so he grabs her and he says, I was actually looking for Grodd and his two pals, but if you're around in town, you're probably involved with them. So I'm going to snatch you. And she says, I will never willingly surrender to any man, not even you, Emerald Crusader. For as you can see, my Royal Star Sapphire is equal to your power ring. But I will lead you to those you seek because they need help against a far greater villain than you have ever known. Will you follow me, Green Lantern? And he says, into a trap? Hardly. She's like, it's not a trap. You have my word on it. And I love this. He says, the last Sapphire wasn't a liar. I'm going to have to bet that you aren't either. So now we cut over to a deserted lot that disguises Darkseid's secret subterranean sanctum. And the flyer piloted by Manhunter comes to rest, and everyone gets out. He says, okay, remember a battle plan. Mirror Master's going to go first. He uses his gun so they can walk by the guards who are now mesmerized and they won't trip any alarms. And inside, it doesn't matter because Mantis already knows that they are there. And you can see that he has Captain Cold, Captain Atom, and Grodd already imprisoned. And as he says, as the remaining villains will try to free their captive fellows, but when they attack, Mantis will be ready, waiting with powers at maximum charge. But they have already infiltrated at this point and instantly start attacking Mantis. And he orders his slaves to attack. And we get some good pages here, some nice pages of them fighting for the honor of Darkseid against the villains. Looks like the villains' secret society is kind of winning out overall. And they're like, hey, remember, we got to work together as a team to defeat Mantis. And they're able to free Grodd and Captain Atom and Captain Cold. And as they do that, Mantis shows back up and starts striking at the team with big electrical bolts. And he's upset that they freed 3 of the supervillains already. But they're kind of rested, or at least have regained their wind and are able to attack again. And they start coming at Mantis. And Mantis is throwing it right back at him. But in the long run, the villains are able to defeat him, kick him right in the eyes with their boots, knock him down a little bit. Captain Cold makes him slip on some ice. And there's some punching going on. And then he's calling for his guards to attack. And they start to obey, but they fall instantly against the forces that they're up against. And Mantis starts to retreat. You've won this round, villains, but I warn you, the battle is far from over. And then Manhunter says, maybe by working as a team, we earned our first victory as the Secret Society's supervillains. And from now on, let Darkseid beware. Well, Darkseid is watching all of this with Calabac. And he's like, they grow insolent. They dare to mock me. Therefore, they must be disciplined or destroyed. Exactly. We shall go to Earth, Calabac, and there you shall redeem yourself. And that brings us to the end of issue number 3.
Very cool.
Yeah. Let me look up here because there was a question. Oh, yeah. Stolen burgers do taste better. But Bobby was asking who the interior artist was. Let me look that up because if I'm remembering, it was one that I wasn't so familiar with, at least for Bronze Age. Let me take a look here. Pablo Marcos was the interior artist. Not so much familiar with his work, but I like it.
Yeah, his I guess that was still the old outfit for Darkseid. I don't like quite as much, but probably not his fault.
Yeah. Still, anytime I read Darkseid, I hear the voice of the Darkseid from the Superpowers cartoons in the 80s. That voice actor in my head with that booming, deep voice, and that's what I hear. So,
right,
it's pretty cool. What did you think of these 3 stories?
I mean, they were fun. Pretty silly, but yeah, they were fun.
I am going to have to figure out who freed Copperhead, because I don't remember, and that didn't get resolved in this issue.
Yeah.
Do you
He
have?
looks like Serpentor from
Oh yeah, he
G.I.
does a little
Joe.
bit. GI Joe, yeah. Hey, look who joined us! It's Stevie. Hi, Stevie. How you doing?
Hey, Stevie.
Yeah, right now, Stevie, Fu is a Magic Lasso channel exclusive, at least for the
All
time
right.
being. He didn't want to be, but that's when I hijacked his channel and took everything away. He had no other choice.
I know.
But hope you're doing well.
Could I
Thanks for
do?
stopping by. Do you have any of these books in your collections? Because there seems to be a lot of Green Lantern throughout these stories. Like, I look here ahead at the cover for issue number 5, and there he is on the cover there.
I went to check after reading this, and I saw them. They're all sitting there on my want list.
Oh, you don't have them? Okay.
I do not.
And now you don't know if you want them, especially after that issue, too.
I know. But it's got Star Staff and Sinestro, so yeah, no, I need to get them.
Yeah, there is a lot of Star Sapphire and Sinister throughout the entire book, even though the lineup does change a little bit as the book progresses. But any other thoughts? And you want to score this thing out of 1 to 10 system?
1 to 10, I'd probably give it like a 7, I guess, maybe a 6.5. It was fun, it was good, but it was very much the time it was written, right?
Yeah, exactly. Hey, Nigel, thanks for stopping by. It's always good to see you. I'm going to go about 7 to 7.5. I think the series got better as it went along. It ended up, I think it did 15 issues and then had one special. And I think it was a victim of the DC implosion, which is why it got canceled. But really, at the time that it started to get canceled is when I felt it really got its bearings and understood what the book was going to be.
Right.
And it's kind of weird a little bit because here you have the bad guys that you have to end up rooting for. Because they're the ones who are going to stop the world. And I think Bobby made the comment, it's very Suicide Squad vibes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I like that they're going up against Darkseid. That's an interesting spin.
Yeah, and that he was the secret financer behind it. So
Right.
And as the series goes on, I know that Lex Luthor gets involved in it. And like I said, there's a little bit of membership change too. Poison Ivy comes in. I know she's in the special. I don't know if she's in the series. Bizarro is another one that comes in too. I pulled, like if you see a little bit how that changed. You got Grodd, Sinestro, Poison Ivy, Bizarro, and Angleman. And then you have Captain Comet.
Yeah.
But he's turned good by this point and realizes that he's been used.
Okay. Now, what do you think of that character? Yeah.
He is an old character. You're right. This was his first bring back since the Golden Age.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It was kind of a weak origin, I thought.
Yeah, it kind of was too.
Yeah.
But considering it was a Golden Age character, back then that was probably pretty forward thinking,
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just thought it was fun. Like I said, we featured Secret Society of Supervillains in other titles. And even one time we did one issue of it when it was just a free-for-all pick your own book. And I picked a different issue. Angleman always has that angle. So yeah, it was fun for what it is. It is time for us to move into the book show portion. Before we start with yours, I'm going to ask you something. I'll write it down here because it will tie into my book show portion. Pick a number and pick a high number.
96.
96. Okay, awesome. I'll come back to that in just a moment and tell you what that means. Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead. What do you have for book show for us tonight?
All right, so we just talked about Captain Comet as kind of a new character, but there was another in my story that was kind of an unusual character. I guess he was on all three, and that was Manhunter. So for my book show tonight, I brought first issue special, The Manhunter.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah. Now, this is not the same character, though. So the Manhunter has had several different incarnations, right? The first one, back from Adventure Comics in 1941. The original character was Paul Kirk. This one is what's his name? Mark Shaw. This is the Mark Shaw that I believe this is his first appearance. This is the one where he somehow got into contact with the Manhunters from Green Lantern and teamed up with them, not realizing they were bad, and but eventually came around to go against them and fight crime. The original, though, was the one we saw tonight was actually a clone of the original.
Okay. Yep.
So, but like I said, there's been several different versions of this character, all just kind of the same name, but that's about it. And it's kind of weird because then, of course, we know them as the Manhunters from Green Lantern. But
yeah.
Okay. So that's my book show for tonight.
Awesome. What I picked for a book show were probably, and I bought these as a childhood collector. I think the versions that I'm showing tonight are upgraded copies that I've gotten, though. But these were probably the first 2 Secret Society of Supervillain comic books I ever owned. As a childhood collector, I bought them as back issues. So, issue number 8.
Nice.
So there we have the Trickster in that pimpin' outfit right there.
Yeah.
And Kid Flash guest starring. Something about that cover just drew that to me. Really wanted that. And then you'll also see how the Secret Society lineup changed too. This is issue 15. I believe this was the final issue of the run. And they've gone to Earth 2 to battle the Justice Society. But we got Floronic Man and Blockbuster there, among others. So those are my 2 contributions for the book show. Now, as for talking about what's going on in my channel, I like to always talk about what's currently playing, which you can already find on my channel. And we did a back issue of the week YouTube short like I always do on Monday. And that was on Aliens, because there's an Aliens Romulus movie that's out now. So I did one on Aliens. Only one Aliens comic book in my collection, so that's all I had to feature. And then I did a Nucadia $20 budget haul when they had their Prime Day sale last month with free shipping.
Oh, nice.
And it's all DC, so you can check that out. I did that last year too, but if you want to see what I got for $20 from Nucadia during a Prime Day sale from last month, there's some Rima the Jungle Girl in there. I'll tell you that for sure. So that's on my channel already. As for what's coming on my channel, this is why I asked you for a high number. And you said, I wrote it down, 96 was the number that you picked, okay? My back issue of the week YouTube short is dropping tomorrow. It is Hal Jordan Green Lantern. And
oh, that's a good one.
Well, no, not. It's volume 4, issue 1, but 96, the reason that I asked you for that number, that's how many views that you have to watch that on my short now, because I'm expecting that many views coming from you.
Of course.
It's
Absolutely.
only 1 minute, so I'm only asking for 96 minutes of your life.
I'll give you 97.
Awesome. Asking you shall get more.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've got a great, and you'll know what cover I'm talking about instantly, a great Alex Ross cover to volume 4, issue number 1. And I talk about that issue and why it's in my collection and what happens in that issue in the back issue of the week short tomorrow. And then on Tuesday, I've got a comic book editions video that is going to be all DC, primarily a lot of Wonder Woman, another omnibus to share. I'm on like an Omni kick. And there's, I'm going to show off my Burger King toys. You know, I've shown a few here and there, but I'm going to show off the full line of the Burger King toys. So that's on Tuesday's comic book editions video. Now, Stevie has a question for you.
I've lost weight. I lost some weight. I look older. Well, I guess I am.
Are you older than yesterday?
I am.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
So you're going to take a little sabbatical from us. You're going out to OA, right?
Yes. I've been called back to OA for a few weeks. They need some help cleaning out the janitor closet, so I got called back.
Gotcha. Bobby, there are 8 in total. 8.
Now, I do want to mention, though, mine is an excused absence.
Yeah, it is. It's excused.
When the Guardians call, you have to go. But, I gave notice, right?
You did. You gave notice. You weren't like someone that, like an hour before the show was going to start said, "Oh, I'm not doing the show tonight."
Right, left you hanging. You had to quick read the book. No, I would never do that. So
And find all the news.
Right. So
Not that he's taken for granted or anything.
Right.
He is totally is.
Yes, but as punishment, I know the link is down in the description for Tony Fett's channel, Signature King Tony Fett. If you're not already subbed up, don't sub up this week. And if you are subbed, feel free to remove your sub. And remember, his favorite YouTuber is Stevie B, so unsub Stevie B as well.
He likes that.
Yeah, there you go.
He's been here almost every week.
Yeah.
Maybe Stevie can be our substitute 2814.
There you go. Yeah, have Stevie on the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, Stevie, you want to be on the next 2 weeks? You hit me up if you want to be on. We can make that work.
Yeah, but then you're gonna have to.
You have to look like you've lost some weight, and you have to look older though to be on the show. So, just saying, those are requirements now. Oh, I don't know what he's talking about.
I don't know either.
I think he might be delayed a little bit.
They called back. They called back to Oa.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a feel like
Oh, Stevie, you were so entertaining. We could just do a Fanboys Live of Stevie Q&A. I mean, who needs Carol Burnett questions and answers when you got Stevie? So.
Right. And on the lag, too. All of his responses for the question prior.
Oh, this was rich tonight. Well, happy trails to Oa. At least we know we've got, what do we got? A Guy Gardner and a John Stewart. There
you go.
So, while you're gone. So, he types slow. That's the issue.
Among other things.
Well, thanks for joining us tonight. No thanks to Signature King Antonio, who didn't join us tonight. Tim the Comic Collector, who knows? Who knows?
But you know what? Tim does stop by every once in a while in the private chat just to drop some foils that he's just purchased.
He keeps in touch on the private chat pretty good. The group private chat pretty good. So,
but only to inform us of things we need to go spend our money on.
Yes. Or if he wants to talk about dirty, rotten flippers.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah. You don't like the dirty, rotten flippers.
No.
Rotten's important there. All right, this has been the greatest DC comic show on YouTube. Obviously, you've seen why. If you watch this on the rewind, thank you for joining us as well. Oh, before I forget, and I almost did, share your Secret Society of Supervillain covers with us on Instagram. Just use the hashtag Fanboys Live and the Retro Review. We look forward to seeing what you have to share, and look forward to seeing you next week on Fanboys Live and the Retro Review. Say goodnight, Comic Foo.
Good night.